Hello again and welcome to another Morning and Glory bolt action video. In today's episode, we are going to be casting our ever critical eye over the Italian starter armies. I shall be reviewing step by step the units that we get in these box sets and considering what they are going to be like in 3rd edition, as the new edition of Bot Action is just around the corner. And it's always a good excuse to pick up a new army when a new version of a game comes out. And so without further ado, let's not mess around any further and let's dive right into today's episode. As is tradition, I want to briefly cover what I'm going to be looking for in these boxes. Number one, we will be looking at the quality of units that is provided. Now, I'm talking about the physical, real-life quality of the sculpts. Are these newer plastic models? Are there any resin parts or metal parts involved? We'll also be considering the price of each box set. Do we think we're getting good bang for buck with these armies? And then we want to consider the flexibility of the units contained therein. If we've got a whole bunch of niche units that might be very good in 2nd edition, but we have no idea if they're going to be good in 3rd edition, that's not going to be a positive thing. We want a box set that we know we can get excited for now, that we can buy now and get hyped for 3rd edition, rather than having to wait around. We want to have units that we have confidence in going in with the new edition. With all of that said, let us look at the army that we are ranking 2nd out of the 2 starter sets, and that is the Italian Bersaglieri starter army. In this box set, you will get 36 multi-pose plastic Bersaglieri infantry. You will also get a plastic tank, which can be built as the Semovente, or it can be built as the M13/40 medium tank. You'll also get metal figures for 2 officers, 1 medic and 1 spotter, so you get all of the different command people, and you'll get a metal medium machine gun team, a metal medium mortar team, and a metal 20mm anti-aircraft gun. Now, looking at the quality of each one of these sculpts, and the good news is that they're all pretty good. The plastic Bersaglieri infantry are some of the latest plastic models to come from Warlord Games. They benefit from all of the quality of life improvements, like the guns actually being molded into the hands rather than having to be glued in separately. Trust me, as someone who's built over 100 plastic Soviet infantry, it is so much better when the guns come part of the arms and the hands. They're really easy to build and they've got lots and lots of fine detail. You'll get all the different bits of pouches and stuff and extra gubbins that you want to put on your models to really add that character and flavor to them. You'll also get lots of different weapon options in this kit as well, with plenty of choice for SMGs and light machine guns, as well as if you want to, even though you get the metal officers, you'll have bits to build plastic officers if you want your commander to have a specific loadout of some kind. On top of this, the plastic tank you get is also of a similar high quality. It is a more recent Warlord Games kit, and you do not need to commit yourself to either the M13/40 or the Semovente. The way that the kit is constructed, the way the model comes together, you can actually build the parts for both of these and then seamlessly swap between them. So if one game you want to use the M13/40, you absolutely can, and the next game you can just pop the M13 bits to one side, put the Semovente bits on, and you will have that tank ready for your next game. So you don't need to buy 2 different models. You get all the bits you need to run both tanks. You just can't run them both at the same time. There are no resin models in this box set, which is a big plus. Unless you are familiar with resin models, you can find them very frustrating to deal with. You've got to go through the cleaning process. A lot of people aren't aware of that, and it can cause a bit of skin irritation, firstly, and secondly, also it can mean that the models don't want to glue together and don't want to paint. But there are no resin models in here, so that's not something we have to worry about. The metal models we do have are all Most of them are pretty straightforward. So the metal officers and characters that you get, they're all going to be one-piece models that you just literally glue straight onto a base. Very little work that needs to be done. Likewise, the medium mortar, all the crew will be in one piece. There may be a separate head here and there, but by and large, the medium mortar will be easy to go together. Metal machine guns can be a bit tricky. Getting the metal gun to line up on the tripod can be a bit of a fiddle, but with a bit of patience, it's fine. The only metal team in here that I have any concern with is the anti-aircraft gun. It looks quite fiddly, and it won't come with instructions. It'll just come in a blister, and you'll have to figure out how to put it together yourself. Now, I haven't built one of these personally, but I have spoken to some people who have, and they have said that they were experienced with metal models, so they didn't find it too tricky, but it definitely could be something that a newer player could get a bit frustrated with. One very important thing to note with metal models is that you will require super glue to put them together. Plastic cement will not work. Plastic glue will not work. That's because plastic glue relies upon essentially melting the bits together, and it does not react with the metal. So make sure that you get some super glue for the metal models and that you get some plastic glue for the plastic models. I would suggest on the super glue front getting a good brand. I have tried cheap home brand super glue, and for some reason it doesn't seem to work as good. I tend to go for there's two that I go for. I either go for Loctite super glue, or I have found the Element Games Element Essentials super glue medium to be quite good as well. That's the only own brand that I found, and I think it works because, well, it's designed for models. It's from a model shop rather than being from like a supermarket or something like that. So overall, we get a good variety and quality of models, and there's only one potentially tricky kit in here, which would be that anti-aircraft gun. So I imagine what many of you are asking is, what's the catch? Why have I put this one in second place below the other Star Trek army that we'll be looking at in a moment? To be honest, it's because it has the potential to be a little niche. Firstly, the Italian Bersaglieri are a slightly more veteran, well, significantly more veteran, more specialized force within the Italian army itself. And we don't yet quite know how veterancy and regulars and inexperience and all that kind of stuff is going to work in Bolt Action 3rd edition. Going for an army which, at the time of recording right now, has to be taken essentially as veteran makes it a little riskier. Not really, and there's a great chance that unless you are playing with some very historically focused people, that you could just use these as Italian army models. At the end of the day, a dude with a rifle is a dude with a rifle, of course, but there is potential that with this being a slightly more veteran, slightly more niche army just in general, that it might struggle to transition to 3rd edition. It may be totally fine. Another unit specifically within this though that may struggle is that flat gun. The infantry will be fine. The medium machine gun, the medium mortars, they'll be fine. The tank is very flexible. It can adapt easily to the new edition, but we have no idea how AA guns are going to work. In 2nd edition, what we're in right now, most people would say that the AA gun is a really big positive because you don't really use it for shooting down planes. In fact, you use the AA gun to shoot infantry because 2cm shells. If it can punch through a plane, it can punch through a dude. But it is a bit niche, and we don't know if AA guns are going to get heavily limited to just focusing down planes. So between the army as a whole being slightly more specialist, and between that unit, the AA gun being potentially at risk when it comes to the new action rules, I want to be clear, it's a very good Star Trek army overall, but that is the reason why I put it below the next one that we're looking at in a moment. And so without further ado, let's take a look at that starter set, the one that I've put in first place, what I think is the better of the two Italian starter armies, the Italian Army and Black Shirts starter box set. Inside this box, you will find 36 highly customizable plastic Italian infantry. You'll also get the same plastic tank, the M13/40, which can also be built as the Semovente. You will also get 4 metal HQ figures. You'll get an officer with a pistol, an officer with an SMG, a medic, and a radio operator. You'll get a metal medium machine gun team, a medium mortar team, and a 47mm anti-tank gun. In many ways, this starter army is similar to the last one. You get the same amount of infantry, you get the same tank, you get the same number of HQs, you get the same medium machine gun team, mortar team, you get the same number of weapon teams. Where I think this has the... So a lot of what I said before about how varied the infantry is, the quality of sculpts, all that applies. All of the quality stuff applies to this army like it did to the last one. Where I think the difference is in the flexibility. Firstly, we are taking the generic Italian army, that you can use this just to represent the Italian ground forces. But at the same time, we can use these models to represent the black shirts. So in a funny sort of way, we are getting two armies in one. That gives us more flexibility. That means if 3rd edition comes around and black shirts aren't good, but Italian army are, well, we're covered. And if it means that the Italian army isn't very good, but the black shirts are actually great, then we've got that covered. It's just a lot of inbuilt flexibility thanks to what these army models can represent at the tabletop. Likewise, I think that there's a bit more flexibility in the weapon teams. Now, of course, the mortar and the machine gun are the same, but that anti-tank gun, sure, it's a light anti-tank gun. And people who have seen some of my other reviews will start raising their hands and going, Mordian, you said that light anti-tank guns were a bit specialist when you were reviewing like the Soviet 1943 starter army. Absolutely, of course. But that was within the context of Soviet starter armies. And now we're looking at this in the context of what we can get with our Italian starter armies. And realistically, I think that there is less chance for a anti-tank gun, even a light one, to be left behind or to be found niche or to be susceptible to some drastic rules changes. Whereas I think it's entirely possible that an AA gun, like you find in the Bersaglieri box set, could become massively gimped if Warlord just decides it can only shoot planes down. Now, before we wrap up the video, there is one last point I want to make, and it's a very small criticism that I want to level against both starter sets. Whichever one you go for, it's going to set you back £104 if you buy it directly from Warlord Games. And there are other starter armies out there which are similarly priced, which you get a little bit more bang for your buck. A good example of this is the Winter German starter army, which costs about the same as this, and you get a tank, you get 48 infantry, and you also get a truck, and you get metal officers and spots and stuff like that, and you get the weapon teams as well. So essentially, you're getting an extra truck and an extra 12 dudes over the Italian starter army. So if you're looking for an Axis starter army, I would have a gander at some of the German ones because they do tend to be better bang for buck. However, having said that, if you're interested in Italians, then both of these box sets are relatively very good deals. It's better than buying the bits individually, and they're both really, really high quality. I may have ranked the Italian army and black shirt starter army higher than the Bersaglieri, but I don't want anyone getting the wrong impression. The Bersaglieri army is still a fantastic starter set, and it's going to have those really high quality models in there. At the end of the day, go for the starter set that you are going to enjoy the most. Warlord Games offers so many different ones. There's always going to be a starter army for every player out there. Just have a good look, have a good browse, and I guarantee you'll find one that you like. But of course, all of this is just like my opinion, man. Let me know what you think down in the comment section below. Which of these two starter armies would you go for if you were going to collect the Italians? And what is your favorite starter army in general for bolt action? If you enjoyed today's video, don't forget to smash that like button and also subscribe to never miss an episode. Would you like to know more? If so, then please consider becoming a channel member or patron. By supporting the channel, not only will you be doing your part, but you'll also be helping me create more content for your viewing pleasure and unlocking a whole host of perks. You get everything from a badge next to your name, custom emojis, but the big one is access to the Mordian Glory Discord server, an online community with almost 2,500 active members. It's always popping off in the MG Discord. We've got channels for army lists, hobbying, tactics, stories, and even a pretty spicy meme section as well. For all you greenhorns that wanted to see the Morty and Glory hole, today is your lucky day. And joking aside, I do want to say a massive thank you to all of the current channel members and Patreons. You guys are amazing. Truly the lifeblood of the channel. I could not do Morty and Glory full time without the incredible and generous support of my members. So thank you guys so much. And last but certainly not least, I want to say a personal thank you to all of my top tier Patreons. These are the War Masters, the people who have truly gone above and beyond the call of duty. So a heartfelt thank you to Alex Dengal, Bon Vert, Lord Pryor, Mark Panconi, RJ Scorpion, Swordfish Trombone, Try Again Bragg, John Stubbs, Nick Walsh, Diesel Fox, and August Barney. Seriously, guys, thank you from the bottom of my heart. Your support is incredible and it makes a huge difference. Thank you so much. That's all for now. Hope you've all enjoyed today's video. And of course, as always, I'll see you guys next time.